Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Real Talk Food Safety with Jill and Tia, and we're live together.
Yes, we are. And we are at IAFP in Toronto. This is our last day here. Some
It is
people
our
are
last
staying
day.
through Wednesday, flying out on Thursday, but we are actually ending the conference today. So we kind of wanted to just check in and let you know what we've been hearing and what we're taking away from IAFP.
Yes, because if you've been on LinkedIn, you've probably seen all kinds of posts because people are sharing,
Mhm.
whether it's sessions they've been to or just things they've done and seen. And so we're going to do the same.
Yes, absolutely. So if you are at IFP or you attended IFP, then put an emoji, a little hand wave, so we'll know that you were here with us, even if we did not get a chance to see you.
Mhm.
So let's talk about our takeaways. One big thing, so you all know we talk about people, and food safety culture is like the thing right now. So, of course, that was talked about here at IFP.
Yes, it was.
And one of the things that I picked up on is that food safety culture, regardless of data, of what people are doing, it really comes back to engagement,
Mhm.
retention, and overall well being of your people,
It does.
which is exactly what we've been talking about, right? Because that is where the data points to, right? That is in this data that we have already, is that if you want a strong culture, you really need to make sure that your people are well taken care of, and that they feel like that they have passion about the job, and that they're listened to, and that they have a voice, that they are engaged in the work that they're doing, and that they have tenure with your organization.
Yeah, and we really need to empower people. I think that's the other part when we
Yes.
talk about people are always wondering, where do I fit into this? And how do we empower them to be like, well, let's go figure that out. Like, you can do that. Like, that's why we have you on this team. That's why we need you here. You are a part of making this.
Yes.
I think that's a big part of it as well.
I think so too. And it's funny because we were talking about, people talk about frontline workers and then management.
Still, that seems to be the, like, we need top leadership to buy in and do this, or we really need to focus on the front line and what they're doing.
Yeah, but our message, right? Like, even middle managers, we think middle managers is one of the most important people in the organization, especially when it comes to culture. I mean, we've been there, right? Like, we've been middle managers, or you're in the middle manager spot. You have so much on your plate, from creating strategy, listening to someone else's strategy, trying to implement strategy, trying to empower, trying to inspire, right? And if your middle managers are not engaged, being retained, right, and have their well-being taken care of, then culture is not going to get better.
It's not a priority.
It's
And there's a reason why Gallup wrote a book called "It's the Manager,"
Yeah.
because they feel so strongly about it is the manager who takes care of teams, who drive engagement. So that's where really that is the practical aspect of food safety culture, with helping those middle managers really understand they have such a huge influence and impact on what happens.
Absolutely.
And they should.
Absolutely. And that's why we play there.
That's why they're so critical.
That's true. And that's why we play there. That's why we really are the practical application of food safety culture. That's why, after organizations, if you're collecting data, or if you're taking surveys, or if you're taking food safety culture training, then what do you do with that? What is really your next step? And the conversations that we've had with people is that we have this information. Now what?
Yes.
Now what do we do? Which is the space that we love playing in, the space that we are super passionate about. So it was really fun to have those conversations with people that are working in the industry, people in government and academia, as well as service providers that are trying to help people, strengthen their food safety culture.
Yeah, and I think that came up too, even as we were here in some of the sessions. There's still a real big focus on the data. And you all know we love data. I mean, we are data nerds. But when it comes to people, data takes a back seat.
Yeah. Yes.
It's people that need to be in the front seat, not data.
Yes. One thing that I was thinking about, and I shared this with Jill, so I'll share it with you all, is that I think sometimes we miss the mark on telling people the why. I think we lean so much on telling people the why and around data, but really we should be telling people why they should care about what they're doing, about the checks that they're doing or the programs that they're leading. And that might be data, depending on if that's important to them, but it could also be your grandkids eat this product, or you love to be the best, so let's be the best, or insert value, right, for the person that you're talking with. And so that's why it's so important to focus on people, because it's not just the why of,
why it's important for the organization.
Right.
It's why it's important to them.
Exactly.
So the why is not our why and telling them the why.
Yes.
It's finding out their why. It matters.
Yes. And I feel like we've missed that a little bit, because hearing people say, tell them the why, you're absolutely right. We're trying to tell them our why.
Mm-hmm.
And that might not be one of their values. That might not connect to them. So if you are thinking about, okay, I'm trying to tell my people the why, try to really learn what they value about the organization, what they value about the product, what they value outside of life.
Like why they're there.
Yes. Exactly. And connect it to them. So I think that was a really big conversation, as you would probably imagine at IAFP. And so that's some of our thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
I think another thing that they talked a lot about at IAFP is just DEI and belonging, and why it's so important to have so many different people at the table, and just diversity, right? And making sure that you are including all thoughts in the conversation. We talk about culture as people, right? If you don't understand people culture, like not just organizational culture and where they are within the organization, but understand my background and your background, and how that shows up at work, right? That goes back to what you value.
Yes.
If you're not doing that, you're missing it.
Yeah, it's all about the safe spaces too. And I think when we talk about DEI and we talk about food safety culture, those things are like synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're not creating a safe space where people can bring themselves to work, where they can be open, where they can share, then we're not being inclusive at all.
Yeah.
And so these initiatives that your company may have or that you may have, they are linked.
Yes.
And so even that, when you think about how do we advocate to get dollars for development or for food safety culture resources, well, this is once again another spot where when we think about how we are integrated into the business, we integrate another aspect through DEI.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's one of the reasons why having just top management be a part of a food safety culture committee, and they're the only ones coming up with ideas and they're trying to push it from the top down, that does not work.
Even senior middle down, because
right.
I think we see that a lot, right? Like directors
really push,
that
right?
are really trying to come up with the plan and all great intention, and we've been there. We totally understand, but it's about how you involve people.
Exactly. Everyone needs to be a part of the plan, and that doesn't mean that you need to ask 150 people, right? But it's really around how do you really empower your middle managers and give them those tools that they can do that with their team and
to
understand
everybody.
Exactly.
How do you get more voices, more perspectives? Yes,
exactly. And then the last thing I would say is around, we really do need new tools around tackling food safety culture. And you all know us, right? We are certified coaches. We understand that coaching really does help people with their forgetting curve. Coaching, it really does move people, right? It's why this industry exists in many different ways, right? And we truly believe that is the key to moving food safety culture, or really, honestly, to move any culture right forward. You see coaches in all aspects of culture, but it's one of those things that how are we doing something new? That's some of the feedback that we've gotten too, of man, I'm hearing some of the same things, what's innovative, what's next, right? And some things, of course, touched on some new innovations, but it's challenging us to think about what new tools should we be investing in? Are we still doing things the same old way and expecting different results?
Yes, I always relate things practical, where it comes to how many times do we hear? Okay, I'll even say how many times I'm I want to eat healthier.
Right.
I know how to do it. I understand the concepts. I am fully capable. But until I connect better with my why as my internal motivator and driver, I'm still going to do what I do.
Yeah.
The same thing happens for leaders.
Yeah.
And when we talk about food safety culture, like we understand we need to communicate differently. We need to influence better. We need to make more time for our people.
Yeah.
Like we logically understand those parts, but until we use some of this coaching to help really tap into the why, our why, and link it, we're not going to get the results that we're looking for.
Right, exactly. We're going to continue to be exhausted and burnt out and overworked. And really, honestly, it's from my own perspective, is really understanding your own worth and where's your passion and where do you fit in this huge thing, right, called food safety culture, right? And within the organization, even if you're in a small company, food safety is a lot of work. And if you don't understand where your passions lie and your own why, as well as other why, then you're kind of missing
out.
it.
You're missing out.
Yeah, you are.
And we always talk about training is kind of communication out. Training is important. It has a place, and we use some training in our curriculum because it helps lay the concepts and foundation. But the part that's missing, like we always talk about, is from training to doing.
Yeah.
And that is the coaching piece, and that's why it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And what we loved is this year, we were just talking about it, is that you, our audience, and being with us every day, we had so many people that came up and they're like, we need to talk with you. We need to understand your programs, and we need to see how we work together. Because right, we've been doing this messaging and in this space and working with clients now for a year and a half, and it's starting to catch on.
Yeah, which we love. People are starting to say, you know what, I do need something different because we're just not able to move the dial, or we're taking these assessments and nothing is changing, and it's actually getting worse. Right? So as you think about new tools for your organization and understanding what does your organization need, what does your people need. One interesting thing that I heard was a guy was talking from FDA and said that they're really not looking at regulating food safety culture. They might put out some guidance, but not really looking at regulating it. And that makes sense because each culture is different. Your organization is different. Your people is different. Your facilities are different. And so it's really important for you to do the work, right? Get to the doing and understanding your people, and then actually implementing the strategy, actually moving forward with it. And then you will see some movement.
Yep. And that's what we love, is that this year we saw that there were shifts in people going, what else is there? What is new? How can we make a meaningful difference and make it relatable for our team?
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Absolutely. So that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed seeing you all in person, and we cannot wait to see you at the next conference. And if you are new here, right, we just kind of talking to the audience, but if you are new here, we do go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time, and we talk about the different things that are happening in food safety because we're passionate about it.
Absolutely. And next week we're going to have a guest on, Christine Alvarado, and she'll be talking about change your questions, change your life.
Yes.
We're all about changing conversations to change food safety culture.
Absolutely. So if we did not get to see you, we do miss you, which reach out to us. We're happy to set up some time to chat and connect, and we will see you all next week.
Yes, we will. So have a great week, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.